What up? Derek here with Truth Wednesday. Christian, we love good news, man. And we love the good news of the gospel. I mean, the truth of the historic, all-satisfying work that Jesus did on the cross for sinners is amazing. It is good news. It is the best news on this planet. And as a culture, we are always trying to be optimists, right? We only look at the good and we try to be as positive as possible. But for good news to truly be good, that news must invade a bad space. There needs to be bad news or a broken thing for the good news to be able to be, well, good. Well, what is the bad news, Derek? The bad news is that we all at some point believe that we're smarter than God. We want the credit for the good things and the hard work that we've done in our lives. And we as God's creation want to be our own little gods. We don't want to submit to Him. Here is a truth bomb from Romans 1:18. Here's what it says. For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness, all unrighteousness of men who by their unrighteousness suppress the truth. So here's some really bad news from Romans 1:18. All people know that there is a God. But in their sin and in their unrighteousness and in their ungodliness, they suppress the truth about God. Oh, they know that there is a God, but they don't want it to be true. So they keep a lid on it. They suppress it. They keep it pushed down. So what God says is because of that, the wrath of God is going to be poured out on them. The wrath of God. That's some really bad news, to have the wrath of your Creator being poured out upon you. The wrath of the God who holds all things together. That's really bad news. But that is also what makes the good news so incredibly good. To remember, Christian, that you were once suppressing the truth about God and His gospel. And that even though you knew there was a God, you suppressed Him. And you ran after your own glory. And instead of God pouring out His wrath on you, He poured out His wrath on His Son. And He did that in your stead and in my stead. And now, by Him making your dead heart alive through faith and repentance, you are no longer an enemy of Christ. And you are no longer under the wrath of God for sin, but you are now one with Him. So that contrast is huge. And that's what makes the good news so good. It's good to remind ourselves of this. And it's also how we should share the gospel with unbelievers. We should share the gospel with others, and we should tell them the whole story. The bad news and the good news. We must know the truth. And the truth is, there is no good news without the bad news. So, we must know the truth, man, and that truth will set us free. Blessings.